So looking ahead real quick, you got Ohio U next week. We've said before when we did our schedule preview a few weeks ago, we both agreed this was the easiest game on the schedule, and I still maintain that it's the easiest game on the schedule. What do you hope to see next week against the Bobcats?
I hope next week more than anything we see the running game get going with a little more consistency. Like I said, I don't think the running game was as bad as it looked tonight. I think they finished the game averaging like 3.6 yards per carry. I don't think it was that bad, especially with Singleton Allen, the freshman. But yeah, that's my big hope for next week is we see the offense with the running game get going with a little bit more efficiency than we saw tonight. Because I do think if you're going to compete in the Big Ten of the season, if you're going to win 10 games, if you're going to potentially beat a Michigan or an Ohio State, you need your rushing attack to be better than it was tonight. So yeah, I hope we see the running game get going against an inferior Ohio team. And if we don't, I think it's similar to last year against, say, Villanova. We all look back to say that Villanova game last year. Penn State won easily, but they averaged what? I think like 2 yards a carry. Ran for like 90 yards on like 40 carries or something crazy like that. So, yeah, you just want to see the running game get going and give you some confidence because, man, I tell you what, if we head into Big Ten play in a couple weeks with Northwestern and that bye week in the Michigan, and the running game is still not going, Penn State fans, rightfully so, are going to be up in arms about it and they're going to be looking for answers.
Absolutely. I would hope, if they can establish a run game against Ohio next week, it'll be a promising sign because I can remember last year, even during that 5-0 start, I saw some red flags when they struggled to pound the rock against Villanova, an FCS team. And, sure enough, when later in the season, when they needed to be able to run the ball, they couldn't do it. And so you hopefully, again, let's see more. Obviously, it looks like, even though we would wish to see the freshmen exclusively play, I mean, Kevon Lee is going to be a part of the offense. And, with how he caught the winning touchdown pass, frankly, he deserves to be part of the rotation still. So it looks like a three-headed monster we've got going there between the two freshmen and Kevon Lee. Devin Ford seems like he's going to be a special teams guy, and he's seems okay with that. Otherwise, he was a guy I thought would have portaled by now, but he clearly, whatever role he's taken on the team, he seems to be all right with it. So there's that. Just looking around the college football real quick, we had a crazy one in Pittsburgh where Pitt took down West Virginia in the renewal of the Backyard Brawl series, 38-31. Mark, I don't know if you caught any of this game, but I caught brief glimpses of it. It seemed like a wild one, and came down to to the final minutes. So it's nice to see these old rivalry games that were eliminated due to all the realignment come back. And Penn State next year begins a home and home with West Virginia, which personally I'm looking forward to, having remembered the last one that was played when I was, a kid in 1992. And, like, what do you think of all, I mean, and then you got the realignment coming with, USC, UCLA joining the Big Ten. It's just, I mean, do you just, do you just feel this is kind of, is this something you just come to accept and it's just one of these like, well, I guess we'll just have to enjoy these moments while they last?
Yeah, to an extent, it was from what I gathered. I was watching the Backyard Brawl a lot before the game started. I'm someone who I live in West Central PA, to where it's more pig country out this way than Mid State country. Um, and I know a lot of people around me were excited for. Today at work, the school I teach at pretty much it's pretty evenly split. everyone's either a Penn State fan or a Pitt fan. So we all agreed that, hey, Friday afternoon, all of our kids will benefit because we're all going to be dragging butt tomorrow between the Pitt game and the Penn State game. But yeah, I would have loved to have seen Pitt lose just out of loathness for that program, but it was a great game. It's what you want to see. A lot of people talk about Pitt and Penn State, but I will go to bat all day long that the backyard brawl is a better rivalry than Pitt and Penn State is for a lot of reasons. So it was cool to see it reinvigorated tonight. It was cool to see it be a close game. I think that does a lot of good for college football. I'm not someone who's like anti-conference expansion like a lot of people are, but I will say the one negative of that I feel has come along is losing the backyard brawl, losing games like that. But hey, great win for Pitt. More credit to them. I will still continue to root against Pitt in every game they have left for the season. I hope they go 1-11. But hey, it was a good game. It was a great college football game. It was definitely a game where if Penn State was not playing tonight, I would have been super invested into it just as a college football fan because of the back and forth and Pitt hang on for a 7-point victory at the end. But yeah, great game. Awesome college footballness. And, hopefully what we got tonight between Pitt and West Virginia and Penn State and Purdue, if that is a sign of things to come as a whole for college football this year, we're going to stay for a great season.
Indeed. And just looking at the rest of what we got for this marathon college football slate. It is Labor Day weekend after all. I'm looking forward, of course, to the big one this weekend. I'm talking, of course, about Virginia Tech and Old Dominion, the James Franklin Bowl between new Virginia Tech head coach Brett Pry and former offensive coordinator Ricky Ronnie at Old Dominion. Should be a very interesting matchup just for us Penn State fans to watch. But for real, the other big games, of course, you got Oregon and Georgia playing in Atlanta, which is like game. You've got, of course, Notre Dame and Ohio State. Saturday night, Fowler and Herb Street calling the shots there on ESPN or ABC, I guess. And then Sunday night you got Florida State, LSU, and the Superdome in New Orleans. Then Labor Day night, Clemson heads down to Georgia Tech. Marty, which game or games would you say you're looking forward to watching the most?
I'm excited for Notre Dame, Ohio State, 2-5. That said, I think there's a real possibility that Ohio State wins, I think, with ease. Oregon and Georgia, another exciting game. Because one thing with Oregon, when Mario Cristobal was there, he recruited the trenches like an SEC school. There's a lot of physicality there. I think they will be able to be physical, Georgia. But I think maybe my most anticipated game of the weekend, and it's a game that's going to talk about a lot, is Utah and Florida, which I understand. You have two top 25 caliber programs. Utah, the SEC, or the Pac-12, excuse me, a potential playoff team with the Utes. I'm very intrigued to see where Utah and Florida go at the Swamp. And, I think that's just a really intriguing game. I can see Utah going down there winning easily. I can see Florida pulling the upset. So, yeah, but what's most important, and, I talked about this the other day with a couple of friends of mine. If there's one thing the 2020 season taught me, it was to really appreciate this. Like, if you are a true college football junkie like we are, Tim, appreciate it because you never know when you're going to lose it. And I'm so excited to have my Saturday afternoon just parked in front of my TV. Like, I'm excited to wake up Saturday morning, fire up my Blackstone, make some breakfast, watch game day, and watch games all day long. And, yeah, I can't wait for it to get started. But, yeah, I think Florida and Utah is the game that really intrigues me. I think Notre Dame and Ohio State, you have to mention it. And I can see the Buckeyes winning easily. And Georgia and Oregon, I think the point spread in Georgia and Oregon is like 17.5 points. That's a big number. I don't think the Dogs lose it, but I don't think they win by 17.5 either. Because, again, like I said, I think Oregon is recruited very well in the trenches. They can out-physical them if they need to be. But, yeah, it should be a great Saturday kickoff of college football season, as always is. And it will be. One thing I will say, as much as I dislike the Thursday night openers, especially in conference play on the road, It will be nice to spend Saturday morning. I will roll out of bed, Penn State already at 1-0, and just be able to enjoy football on Saturday, knowing my Nittany Lions already 1-0, and just kick my feet up and relax.
Indeed, I think Notre Dame, Ohio State, I'm looking forward to the most. That's not just because I have family that are Ohio State grads, but it I'm intrigued to see if Ohio State can cover. I think the line. What's the line at? I haven't looked at it lately. I think Ohio State's over a 2-touchdown
Yeah,
favorite.
last I saw, the line was 16.5.
Okay, yeah, it's a little higher than I thought, but I mean, I think Ohio State. I think they have potential to just pummel Notre Dame. It's just especially if you got an offense like the one they have on paper, and if that defense, kind of like we talked about Penn State's O-line, if that defense is serviceable enough under Jim Knowles, I really think they can boat race Notre Dame in prime time. But we shall see. Anyway, I got time for a few questions here. So before we do that, just a reminder on the main channel, the Voice College Football channel, Mark Rogers himself will have his live call-in show every Saturday night, 11:30 Eastern time. So banner right there. So go
And
check
check it
that.
out. The last 2 seasons, I've been on the call in time or doing Saturday night. So hey, if you enjoy us, you might see me on it.
Yes, you might hear a drunk Marty calling in at 11:30 on Saturday night to Mark. I'm kidding, but or maybe I'm not.
Some weekends you are, some weekends you're not.
Depends on how the game goes. When's LeVar going to get number 11 retired? Frankly, I hope he never does. Frankly, I think he likes the fact that linebackers deemed worthy enough rock the number 11 jersey. So you thought Micah Parsons, Navarro Bowman. I think did Brandon Bell rock 11? I can't remember.
Yeah, his senior, the Big Ten championship year, Brandon Bell was number 11.
Okay, yeah. So Abdul Carter got the number 11, which should tell you something, even though he's not starting at the moment. I mean, frankly, the way the other linebackers looked tonight, besides Curtis Jacobs, the starting ones, I would not be shocked to see Abdul Carter by mid-season being a starter out there. It's, unfortunately, we knew it was going to be the weak link going into the season, and, Purdue seemed to prove that right this season. I mean, tonight. So hopefully it's not too detrimental. Let's see. Well, more of a comment. Penn's not going to beat Michigan this year. Maybe Michigan. I don't know if he's trying to say maybe they'll beat Michigan State, which, yeah, maybe. I don't know. That's not till Thanksgiving.
That's a bold statement. Hey, Michigan, Penn State, Michigan State, three of the best programs in the Big Ten. Might win, you might not. You're really going to live there,
You're not going to beat Michigan this year. I mean, probably not. I mean, it's in Ann Arbor. The only time I've seen in recent memory we've seen Penn State win in Ann Arbor was that weird COVID year.
COVID year, yeah.
Which, Michigan was also affected by that COVID year as badly as Penn State seemed to be. So, there's that. But, I mean, the last time before that they won in Ann Arbor was, I think, when Rich Rodriguez was coaching them. So, probably not beating Michigan. Michigan State, yeah. Who knows? Who knows what the team's going to look like by Thanksgiving weekend, both Penn State and Michigan State. Injuries happen. Got other people who we're not talking about right now emerge, become studs. So we'll see. Dominic wants to know, what do you think about the O-line? And we touched upon this earlier, Marty. I mean, I guess they looked better compared to the end of last year. Pass protection was okay. They only gave up one sack. Run blocking seemed all right. I guess you'd like to see that improve, though. I really felt there were a couple times where Singleton just got tackled by the ankles, and maybe if the line had just given him another split second, he could have just broken one, but
Yeah,
hopefully
yeah.
not.
I didn't think the offensive line was all that bad. You mentioned Singleton. His first carry tonight, it was Penn State's second drive of the game. They started down 3. He was literally one missed tackle away from going 97 yards for a score in his first collegiate carry. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, I think the offensive line played okay. None of things considered. Is there room for improvement? Absolutely. I think right tackle continues to be a major problem. I mean, Caden Wallace had what between holdings and false starts, 3 or 4 penalties tonight. So I think right tackle is a major problem for Penn State. But yeah, I think the offensive line overall took a step in the right direction tonight.
Certainly. Got Dustin. I couldn't quite decipher as though Cliff, an NFL quarterback. I don't think Frank was the best coach for him, but could NFL talent be bestowed upon Cliff? Um, Frankly, I don't think any coach is gonna make Cliff any better than he is. I think what you're seeing Cliff at is, I mean, especially you saw the first 5 games last year. I mean, that's like the best you're going to see him. He can certainly be a decent quarterback, serviceable one when he's healthy. But I just don't. I mean, he's not an NFL talent. I mean, there's a reason why he's already busy starting up his own NIL business. I mean, that's going to be what he goes pro in after he's done with this season.
Yeah, I was think it's a weirdly positioned question. You mentioned, but could NFL talent bestow upon like you take any college quarterback and put them behind the NFL offensive line with NFL weapons, they're going to be better. It's not to go off topic, but it's one of those like ad nauseum things when people, could Alabama beat the Jacksonville Jaguars? No, they couldn't. If Alabama played the worst team in the NFL, they would lose by 60. So to say could Cliff be better if you surrounded by NFL talent? Well, yeah, every freaking quarterback in the world would be. Again, like I mentioned earlier, I have been as critical of Sean Clifford as anybody. I was extremely critical of him tonight. I felt up to that final drive, he did not play well, especially the pick 6, which was just an absolutely god awful throw. But to Sean Clifford's credit, when Penn State needed him most, he stepped up. He made the throws. He led the march down the field, and he hit Kevon Lee for the game-winning touchdown. So, could Penn State do better than Sean Clifford? Absolutely. Could Penn State do a hell of a lot worse than Sean Clifford? Again, absolutely. So I think Clifford's a quarterback who you feel comfortable that he could get you 9 or 10 wins. Are you comfortable Clifford could lead you to the playoff and beyond? Maybe not, but you're definitely comfortable in Sean Clifford's ability to get you to 9 or maybe even double-digit wins.
Indeed. One last question. What do you think about Pitt and Tennessee next weekend? To quote one Lane Kiffin, get your popcorn ready. Both teams can light up the scoreboard, especially Tennessee. I think they put up the scores tonight. Looks like they put up 59 on Ball State. I'm trying to pull it up here. Yeah, 59-10 over Ball State. It's interesting to see Joe Milton find a second life at Tennessee and Josh Heupel's system because he certainly looked lost at Michigan before transferring out. So good on him. And of course, Tennessee looking for revenge after losing last year to Pitt. Should be an interesting one. I'll be watching that. And on that note, Marty, I know we've been keeping you up way past your bedtime on a school night. But totally worth it being a zombie tomorrow. Am I right?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, it'll be nice. It was funny too. Today we're in class, and I work in special education, so there's 2 of us in the classroom, and my behavioral health specialist in my classroom, Mr. Glessner, he even told the students, he's like, Mr. Leaf's gonna be tired tomorrow. He'll be watching the Penn State game, so hopefully my kids are ready for it. It's a Friday. Thankfully, at my school, my students get a half day every Friday, so they'll be out of the door by 1:00, and that includes getting lunch at 12 and gym class at 12:30. so I can kind of coast in the day. But yeah, they're Penn State's 1-0. That's what matters right now. And it might be 1:30 in the morning on the East Coast almost, but I will be dragging astronomical amounts of butt at work tomorrow. But it'll be worth it because Penn State's 1-0. It was not a win that a lot of times looked like they weren't going to have it, but they pulled it out, and more credit to them. And one thing I will say before we go off the air, I do think this is a game the last 2 years, whether it was Iowa last year, Indiana 2 years ago. This was a game the last 2 years Penn State finds a way to lose. To their credit, tonight they found a way to win. And I think that alone can go a long way for the growth and for the development of this football game.